Hey y'all, it's Naim Nappy and I'm back for another Tip Tuesday. So this week I'm going to be talking about 8 herbs that help reverse premature graying, because if y'all don't know, I am so annoyed with the fact that I have little gray hairs sprouting everywhere all through my scalp. And so I really want to focus on a holistic approach into how I deal with my gray hairs. And so first I'm going to talk a little bit about what causes gray hairs or premature graying, and then some of the herbs and what we can do to help prevent it or reverse it. All right, so hair starts to turn gray because it loses melanin. And melanin is what gives it its color, and it actually turns white instead of gray, but that's how we perceive it. And over time, eventually in our 40s and 50s, we really start to go gray all over. But you guys, if you're seeing premature graying, it can be due to a number of factors now. They haven't quite figured out everything, but generally it happens from either genetics. So if your family has a history of premature graying, you might also have it as well. But it could also be due to vitamin deficiencies, such as low iron, low vitamin D, lack of vitamin B, folic acid, biotin. It could be a number of vitamin deficiencies that can be causing your premature graying. Additionally, you also want to lower your stress levels, because stress, you guys, stress can cause so many issues, and premature graying is just one of them. So holistically, you want to look at all of those things as a whole approach before we just go in and shout out and say, just take these herbs or use these herbs. So you want to make sure you're eating right, eating lots of fruits and veggies that contain these type of vitamins and nutrients, and keeping your stress levels low. And now I'm going to go into the 8 herbs for you guys that can help prevent or reverse premature graying. And some of these herbs can be taken internally as well as externally, and I'll let you know about those as we go along. All right, so the first herb I'm going to talk about is Amla. Now, Amla is actually a fruit and is rich in vitamin C, vitamin B5, and other antioxidants. It is a great herb that you can actually take internally. A lot of people use Amla juice, and you can use it externally like Amla powder. You can make your own mask with it like I do in this video here, or you may choose to add it to other mask treatments. So like for instance, I like to do henna treatments or a henna mask, and I'll add about a 1/4 cup or 2 to 3 tablespoons of Amla powder to my henna mask. And that provides some conditioning properties, but of course, most importantly, it helps to prevent gray hair. So next up is curry leaves. Now you guys, I've actually been playing around with curry leaves and finding a recipe that I really love, but curry leaves are rich in selenium, zinc, and B vitamins. So if you're deficient in vitamin B, you definitely want to look into using curry leaves in your regimen. You can use this, actually, you can take this internally. You can use it when you're making like a curry, or you can use it externally. So I've been playing around with it using the curry leaves in either coconut oil, and if you don't like coconut oil, I highly recommend almond oil, which is also a great oil, prevents premature graying because it's rich in vitamin E. So you'll go ahead and simmer the curry leaves into the oil, strain it, and then use that oil with your hair. Now, of course, I always like to play around with adding more than just one herb into my oil mixes. But when I'm testing out an herb on its own, I try to focus on just that one herb at a time to see how it works with my hair. So be prepared for a video to come out soon about curry leaves. So next up is henna. You guys, y'all know I've been using henna for a long time. Now henna contains the lawsome dye, and that actually helps to tint your hair a reddish color. It provides strengthening properties, conditioning properties, antifungal, antiseptic. Henna is just a great herb to include in your regimen. And not only that, it actually helps to color or tint the gray hairs in your strands a reddish color. Now, if you're not a super big fan of just the reddish color, but you do want some of those properties, I recommend adding into your henna mix either henna and indigo, henna and coffee, henna and amla. All of these herbs actually help to darken your hair, and if you're looking for something that is not as reddish as that, you can add those other herbs, which will provide a darker tone. So I used to do henna and indigo as 2 separate treatments, and that will actually give you a jet black color hair. If you guys would like a video on that, please let me know down below, and make sure you're subscribed, y'all. Are y'all subscribed to my video? I hope you're not watching through this and not being subscribed, okay? So next up is, of course, Fenugreek or Methi. And y'all, I have, I think, 4 videos on Fenugreek, because Fenugreek has amazing properties. Like, it contains nicotinic acid, amino acid, magnesium, iron, just rich in so many vitamins that are beneficial to help reverse graying. Now, of course, you can use Fenugreek internally in your regimen. Use the seeds, you can use the powders when you cook, but of course you can use it externally. I've made a Fenugreek tea with it. I've done Fenugreek paste with it. I've made deep conditioners, leave-in. So check out these series up here on how to further incorporate it in your regimen. And remember, y'all, it's consistency in use, and that's really where you're gonna see the most benefits. So next up is Bhringraj. It's called King of Herbs, y'all. This herb is really great, and this is why obviously they call it King of Herbs. It contains vitamin E, vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, iron. This herb I usually make into an oil, and I usually mix it with other herbs. Again, you can use some of the other herbs I mentioned earlier, your Amla, your Henna. You bring that into an oil over a double burner, strain that, and then use that oil in your hair. I recommend 2 to 3 times a week. If you can do it daily, do it daily with a nice scalp massage to help reverse that graying. Now, next up is an herb I just actually recently talked about in the last month or 2, and that is Jatamansi powder. Yeah, Jatamansi is actually like the rhizome or the root of the plant, and that actually helps to naturally darken your strands. Actually, when you see the herb, when I'm mixing it, it's actually very dark. It makes a very dark oil, and you use that in your hair a couple times a week. Again, as I say, I recommend adding it to other herb mixes so you get maximum benefits, okay? Jatamansi is also an adaptogenic herb, which is great for lowering stress and anxiety in your body, which you guys know that stress can further aid in graying, and stress can also aid in a lot of other things as well. So Jatamansi is also really good to take internally as well. So if you guys start taking Jatamansi internally, I recommend you talk to your doctor. Before you take any herbs, actually, I recommend you speak to your doctor to make sure they're not going against any other medications or any internal issues you may be having. So finally up, and I'm gonna say them together, as sage and rosemary. Guys, those 2 herbs are so amazing. They're actually great for those who have thinning hair, those who have alopecia. It's great for darkening hair, thickening your hair strands. It has antifungal, antiseptic properties. I've been using sage and rosemary together in my tea, my herbal hair tea. I'll usually use this as a hair rinse. I actually drink it as a tea. And also, you guys, I add some rosemary to my Ayurvedic hair oil, which includes a lot of these other herbs that I have. This Ayurvedic hair oil that I make is all about, it's about reversing graying, helping your hair grow long and strong, helping preventing hair fall, a number of things. But it contains a lot of these herbs, y'all, because when you put them all together, you use them all together, you get maximum benefits, maximum results, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. So, you know, drinking the rosemary internally like a tea, using it as a rinse, and then using it in my oil. And so the most important thing about all of these things, you guys, is that you need to be consistent. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's one thing, whether it's multiple herbs, is you must be consistent, okay? Be consistent with external use, be consistent with internal use, because that's when you're gonna see the most results. Now, if you're thinking about, hey, you know what, I just want to go ahead and embrace my gray hairs, I'm here, whatever, they're there, they're not going nowhere, stay tuned for next week because I'm going to discuss some herbs that you can use if you have gray hair, because a lot of people always say that some herbs do stain their hair a darker tint or a darker color, and that's not what they're looking for. They're looking to enhance their gray or silver hair. So stay tuned for next week for that. If you're looking for some DIY recipes on how to make your own deep conditioner, I recommend you click the video on the screen right here. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week for another Tip Tuesday. Bye.